Daniel O'Connor's got to be like, right? This guy 5 years ago saw disclosure as being part of the Great Deception.
Yeah.
I mean, what an intuition, man, because I wouldn't have picked up on it until years after he did. I mean, at this point, for sure, we'd have been picking up on it, but Daniel was so ahead of his time on this. He saw this whole thing, and he saw it in the Catholic media. He saw it with Jimmy Akin. He saw it with all these guys starting to talk about this stuff. Remember the guy who just passed that we interviewed on the St. Joseph book? He wrote the book about aliens and
Thigpen, Dr. Paul Thigpen.
Dr. Paul Thigpen. He wrote a book on aliens. He saw something happening within the Catholic world, and it's kind of funny. It's the same group of people trying to pass it off that you can support Israel too. It's the same group of people trying to tell you that evolution is totally fine. And we started putting the pieces together, saying, why are these guys all pushing these novel, weird things that they want us to like? They're doing interviews with Ben Shapiro. Matt Walsh is going over to the Daily Wire. He's interviewing Jimmy Akin. Then he won't interview Daniel O'Connor. They're also the guys who will make it like, well, the church says you can technically believe in young earth, but if you do, you're a total moron, essentially is what they were saying. And Daniel just saw it as it's because Daniel, he does focus on the alien thing, but he also thinks AI is going to be part of this deception. Like all of it together, it's going to be just this great deception that, like, dude, I'm telling you, even guys I work with, random guys, like everybody's all hyped up on this alien thing, and it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to try and pitch it in a convincing way. Like if there's governmental disclosure, the thing is, it's so dumb because it's another one of those things with AI too. Like AI to me, they keep telling you about, everything's going to change. You have no idea what's coming. You have no idea what's coming. But before the end of the year, you have no idea what's coming. And it's always this future event thing. And everything I watch with AI is showing how like AI is devouring itself. It's like feeding itself false information and spitting out fake crap. And
there are definitely things it's good at and useful for. And like, I've, started using it more for stuff with the show, not like obviously we use it kind of in a joking manner for the intros, but like, it's easy to throw a transcript of the show into it and like pull out all the good keywords out of this for me to use as tags and stuff like that. But what's funny is you can throw a timestamp transcript in and be like, tell me the timestamp, where we're talking about this subject, and it will send them to you, and then you look at completely wrong, and you go back to the AI, you're like, that was wrong, it starts at this timestamp, give me and it's like, oh yeah, it was wrong, here's the right one, and then it's like, what the heck?
Look, I saw Joe McLean did a whole story by using Grok talking about a bishop who was like accused of sex abuse, and it was really like a German bishop that did it, and he accused like the Bishop of Albany of doing it, and I'm like, dude, he had to issue a retraction. Like the thing gets stuff wrong.
Well, even to this day, when you ask it a question about the Pope, 9 times out of 10, it will think you're talking about Francis.
Yeah. So, well, look, Rob and I were talking about titles for this series this morning, and even that, okay, so like it is good. Like Rob sent me like an algorithmic breakdown of like our audience and how the show works, and like we do know, like it's accurate. You know what I mean? You could see clearly, like it shows you like these are the videos that did good. Your audience seems to really be engaged. It spends this much time. It's good for stuff like that, but it'll never have intuition, right? No. And there's a reason why I get a tweet to pop off twice a week. I'll get at least 2 tweets to pop off a week. And
I would say quantity.
Well,
when you tweet,
might have something. I do tweet a lot.
Yeah, 2 out of 1,000.
I tweet a lot, but I also have an intuition for like what's going to rile people up, or what people are going to click on, what people are going to engage with. And like the AI will understand algorithm, and it'll understand things like that, but it's not going to have that human intuition and I'm confident that AI will be a useful tool. I do not think it will ever be capable of the things that they're talking about. When they talk about like robots are going to take over everything, I'm like, no, they're not. First off, do you know how expensive it would be to get a robot to do the things that they're talking about doing? And
the company I work for just bought a robot for something that was $100,000.
And how efficient is it?
I don't know. Hasn't been installed yet.
But there's no scenario where a robot is doing my job ever, not in 100 years. Like, it's just, there's too much on the fly thinking and getting phone calls randomly through the day about an emergency job. And this has to get that. Like, an AI could never comprehend like, having to improvise on something. I can use it to help me plan a route. I can use it to help me figure things out, but it'll never be able to do things like I do, because it's just not, it's not a human mind. And it might pass some Turing test because you're fooled by it, but that doesn't mean it's capable of what the human mind is capable of.
Well, just last week, some company which was using, I think Claude, or I think it was Claude, gave Claude access to their production database, and Claude deleted it all and all the backups. And they're like, why did you do this? And it's like, I don't know. I violated every single one of my instructions, but
these
I did it.
Are possessed, dude. Dude, I'm telling you, this really does go one of two ways. One is it just devours itself and just look. There's this one guy I watched that there's so much money going into this AI thing, because people are just like, they like, investors think that AI is the future because of all the talk around it. Everybody's just saying, oh my gosh, AI is going to do this, AI is going to do that. So everybody's like, I want to get my money invested in this thing. And the thing is devouring money, but it doesn't, like, it needs more data.
That's the thing. It's devouring money, but it no one has made money off of it yet, right?
No.
And if they don't soon, and people start pulling that investment, then you have the biggest house of cards, the biggest bubble in history.
Dude, and it's crazy because the way they're charging people $3,000 a month in some cases, and then you're buying tokens, this token system, because every time you ask it a question, it's charging you for the data that it's eating up, and it's like this thing. I don't know. I think it might be the most overhyped thing ever. It's always something in the future. And the same thing with the disclosure stuff. It's like, oh, disclosure's coming. Disclosure's coming. It's coming. And I don't know, man. Like, it's always this future of, oh, wait till you see what the government has. Like, I don't know what they could show us other than like footage of like an alien life. And even then you're going to go, that thing's AI. Like, how are they going to convince us that this thing is legitimate? Like, I don't see how it works.
Well, the aliens are going to come down, see the sort of stupid crap we're making with AI, and be like, nope, we're out. We want no part of this.
Yeah, I think this whole thing, I don't know, man. I honestly think AI is going to be the biggest letdown. That I do think it'll be good at control, and I do think it will know, like, once they get quantum computing down, I think things like taxes and stuff like that, like, they'll be able to determine where every dollar originated from, where every dollar was spent. Like, you're not going to have to file taxes anymore, because it's just going to know. It's going to send you a bill, and it's going to go, this is exactly what you owe, because every time a Venmo comes to you, they're going to know what that Venmo was for. Like, it is going to be good at stuff like that. I do think, but even like, I watched a woman, a lawyer, the other day, used AI to do her legal research, and the freaking AI gave her court cases that never existed to cite. And the woman got reamed out by the judge. She was the prosecution too, and she literally used the AI to build a case against somebody, and it was citing court cases that never existed. Yeah. That's where the danger comes in, because you don't know where the AI is actually getting. It was literally citing like this one versus this one, and it just, that case isn't a real thing. There is no court case that exists that does that. And how the hell do you know Like in reality, how the hell do you know when that happened? Like like if the judge didn't know any better, what if the judge was like, "Oh crap, I guess this court case," like how do they even check it against something that happened in Wisconsin? One thing about AI is it allowed me to hack locals for free, so I'm saving $5 a month.
Yeah, but you're spending $20 on AI to do it.
Of course, Kale and Steve are buying into AI and disclosure. Well, first off, Steve
was one-shotted by aliens and AI, basically, and all that secular stuff.
That's what it is. Steve gave up the religious, right? And you still have a desire for the heavenly, and he just replaced angels and spirits with aliens. Like but that's what all of Western culture did, right? There's a period of time where when after the Enlightenment, materialism comes out, right? And scientism and materialism happens, and it kind of builds this wall up around us where we no longer encounter these spirits. And it works for a while because you're still in a Christian world, and there's still altars everywhere, and people are still Christian, and the demons are still bound. But at some point, those demons come crashing up from the abyss. And the materialism is not a wall that can hold it back anymore, right? And people start encountering these entities because they are real, and they're like, I had an encounter with an alien, because their brain can't compute the spiritual realm, and they have no category in their mind for non-human intelligences that the world had always understood before the Enlightenment and materialism. So it's just inevitable that we're going to have people encountering these demonic forces that are coming up from the abyss because they're no longer bound. It's just, yes, aliens are his religion now. Yeah. Look, I don't want to, like, I'm not going to kick him in while he's down, and he's going through a lot right now. So, but it is kind of clear to see that that's what happened there. He always, he still has the energy that he put into the church at one point, he's just putting into other mysterious things, because we have this longing for mystery. We have this longing for the supernatural. So he's just looking for the supernatural in a way that he can explain it away as natural. And, these he thinks AI could be conscious one day. And it's like, come on, man. It's just an algorithm. That's all it is. It's an algorithm that's feeding numbers and data into it. There's nothing conscious about that. And it's always the atheist materialists who want to believe that an AI can become conscious, because they think consciousness is a product of evolution, and that it just pops up out of nowhere. And they don't see it as,
because if it's not that, then it has to be created by something, right? Yeah. By God. And they do not want to believe that.
Yeah, man. It's like evolution is one of those things where it's like the idea that the universe would start to create stuff on its own, and that its creation would then become aware of itself. Like, it's such an absurd notion. That intelligent life would then become aware. And consciousness, what the heck is consciousness if you don't believe in God? Consciousness is being. And God at the burning bush to Moses, I am who am. Like, there may not be a more profound explanation of God than Moses at the burning bush. I am. Like, there's no, like, that statement alone is enough to make you believe in God if you're thinking deeply about it and like what that actually means.
Yeah, if you especially for anyone who arrives at the idea that God must exist through like philosophy, like Aristotelian philosophy, right? That for our universe to be the way it is, for our universe to exist, there must be a being that is existence. And there's only one religion where like God describes himself as
existence, right? It's like the Greek philosophers are trying to work this out, and God reveals himself to the Jews as existence. It's like it's just too complex and too deep for that to not be a proof of God. I do want to discuss that story